advice to my younger self would be,
What is the most underrated plugin? Was that inspired by our Disruptor video?
yeah.
Ever wonder how Arcando crafts his signature drum and bass bangers? Well, today I'm going to be breaking down how he achieves his iconic bounce that can be heard in tracks like Don't Tell Me. Welcome back to How to DNB with Inverse Audio. I'm 5X, and today's episode is a special one. We've got a track breakdown and an exclusive interview with Arcando at the end, so make sure that you stay tuned for that one. He does give so many good tips for you guys. If you're excited for this one, then make sure you drop the video a like, leave a comment with what you want to see on the channel next, and without any further ado, let's get right in the video.
Oh, how you broke me. Oh, how you
Hello.
Yo,
Yo, how's it going, man?
I'm good, man.
Welcome to Inverse Audio. Arcando often builds his beats around a standard two-step drum pattern, but he knows how to keep it fresh. He adds accent kicks and snares to enhance the groove and elevate the bounce. His hi-hats have a super shuffly feel, which gives his track that rhythm. Arcando also loves using drum breaks and fills to switch up the groove and keep the energy high. Perfect for driving the track forward and making it more rhythmically dynamic. So as always, we will begin with breaking down each of the elements and then later on playing them all together at once. So starting off with the drums, I didn't really do anything too crazy. It is for the most part just a standard two-step with a nice punchy kick. And then of course we've got a snare that is layered. The first layer comprising of this and the second one more of like a hit and a sort of like a trappy snare, but when you layer them together. Next up, we have the hi-hats. These are meant to be a bit more shuffly, so I've added in a little bit of a break in between these two, as can be seen. Then I have a hat going every 2 beats. That's more of like an open hat. Next, we've got a bunch of top loops. And then the last layer is really nice and splashy. So yeah, all the hi-hats together sound like this. So yeah, they're very open, very airy, and they give the track a lot of bounce. So yeah, in terms of the mixing, I didn't really do anything too crazy, just a bit of parallel compression, but that was it. So that's the drums. Arcando's bass lines vary widely from track to track, but one constant is his love for a filthy respace, especially in build-up sections. To capture his sound, try layering a respace with a vocal crowd sample. It's this trick that adds depth and texture. Another key element is his use of call and response sections in the bass line. Make sure that your A and B sections talk to each other, creating a coherent yet dynamic interplay that keeps listeners hooked. So now breaking down the bass lines, of course, all of it started with a really simple sub, which just holds the root note of the track and it keeps it nice and steady. I've got a foundation to work from. Next is this foghorn that we have. So shout out to Denver. He actually helped me with these and came up with most of the basses. So it's just like a long sort of winded foghorn that uses peak distortion. And then we've got a noise layer and then a second layer. So yeah, when you put all those together, and to achieve that almost sliding effect, what we actually did was change the pitch bend, and that's what goes from down to up, as you can see there. And for the post-processing, there is actually quite a lot of it. OTT, compression, sort of distorting it, a bit disperser, and some reverbs as well. And then EQing all those together nicely, and then gluing them together with a bit of Rift, OTT, and once again, a Pro Q3. Now, the sort of response bass here is almost a duplication of the patch that we used in the call section, and it sounds something like this. So for this one, it's more or less the same thing, except the LFO is shaped a bit differently, and the way that we're achieving the sound is using this peak distortion. So literally what you're doing is you're using EQ or a filter to peak that one frequency, and then you're distorting it to get a nice tone. As you can see there, it's moving up where that harmonic is on the +7. And then the layer of that is just a noise layer, just to give it some extra grit in the high end. And then the only other bass line that we have in here, I believe, is just a respace. And yeah, this one's really cool. It's essentially just made up of this patch, which is 2 sawtooth waves at 1 unison. They're detuned at -30 and 30. And then we've got distortion, multiband compression, and a bit of EQ. And then the sliding with the mono legato down there as well. And then the layer of that is more or less the same, except it's just using a bit more FM and like monster wavetables to give it a bit of like high end and grit. And they were just glued together with an OTT decapitator and then a reverb that only automates in the drop, so there's no low end. Then yeah, to get that sort of like iconic Arcando sound, this is actually from one of his sample packs. And it can be heard in like most of his tracks, like Bust Back and Don't Tell Me. I've tried to recreate. I think it's pretty much bang on right. When you sort of play that with context, the drums and the bass should sound something like this. Don't forget to use a nice little laser to break apart between the sections. And yeah, we forgot to mention earlier, but we have a nice little drum break. When it comes to vocals, Arcando often opts for ethereal and ambient sounds, particularly when he's not diving into jump up territory. Look for a vocal with a catchy hook or segment that can be chopped up effectively. Creating a vocal chop from this hook and repeating it in a drop section is a surefire way to emulate that Arcando vibe. So yeah, the vocals from today's video are once again from Vocalify. It's a royalty-free vocal marketplace where you can get unique vocals sung by professionals. And now if you want an extra 10% off your order, make sure to use code InverseAudio10. But breaking down the vocals from this video, we actually did get quite a few stems in this, which were mixed in together. But the interesting thing is, that sort of made me choose this vocal was the main sort of hook here.
Oh, how you broke me.
Which I then chopped throughout the whole drop, and it gave it a very Arcando vibe. And then this also build-up section, and before the actual like hook vocal comes in, it's very like nice and ethereal, which is what made me choose these.
Oh, how you broke me. Should have known better, you were bad for me, bad for me. Oh, how you broke.
But yeah, with this one, it was literally just a small section of the vocal that we took, faded in and out, and then just put loads of reverb on them. But yeah, that sounds like this in the drop. But yeah, that's the vocals. One of the standout features in Arcando's tracks is his build-ups. He often uses a descending melodic pattern with his signature respace, paired with a crowd noise to amp up the tension. Adding in drum fills and breaks helps to maintain excitement and keeps the listener engaged right before the drop. This approach ensures the build-up not only serves as a transition, but also as a climactic moment in its own right. Right, so moving on to the build-up. I think it really started with this Reese, which then over here plays that sort of descending pattern where the notes gradually come down. So yeah, starts low, goes up, and then goes back down. And that made it feel very Arcando-y. And then on top of that, to get his like signature sound is this crowd sample that I found from one of his sample packs. I won't reveal it just in case it actually is what he does. But yeah, when you pair those two, sounds pretty bang on. And then on top of that, added in a few kicks, especially in this sort of section here. Pair that with a few like drum breaks and things. The only thing missing from that was then the effects. So there's like this little siren. And then a few down filters and risers. Yeah, and then when you pair that with a vocal, Arcando's mastery of ambience is a big part of what makes his tracks so immersive. Start by layering ambient pads, plucks, and atmospheric effects, then glue them together with reverb to create a cohesive soundscape. Don't forget to add some chords that follow the main chord progression of the track to tie everything together. This creates a rich, enveloping atmosphere that draws the listener in and sets the stage for the rest of the track. So yeah, for this atmosphere, I believe I started off with this pluck, which is just playing the root notes and then 2 filler notes. It creates a nice bass for the whole track, really. And then from there, I believe I took an atmosphere from one of our packs. And then 2 further atmospheres, which I believe should be, well, this one's from Pigments, actually. Both of them are Pigments. And yeah, when you layer all those together, you get a nice bed of sound for the whole track to sit upon. And in the second section, what I've done is I've made these plucks, which play offbeat, and then the intro reese as well, which helps support that bass line. And then on top of that, I've actually added in the full drum break, but it comes in slowly and it's filtered. So yeah, together with a vocal, it sounds something like this.
And I keep a picture of us in the pocket of my rib jeans. I keep telling myself lies, close my eyes, I see you next to me. Oh, how you broke me.
And then yeah, the only other thing that I did to this track really was the second drop switch up. I went for halftime actually, which did sound quite good. So that sounds something like this.
Broke me. Should've known better, you were bad for me, bad for me, bad for me. Oh, how you broke me. Oh, how you broke me. Oh, how you
So yeah, that uses all the same elements. It's just the drums that are slightly different and they're arranged in a different manner. So you have the snare, instead of being on the 2 and 4 beat, they're just on the 3, and the kick plays in halftime as well. But the hats and everything else is still the same. And then the side changes along with that. But yeah, that's essentially how I made the track. I didn't want to make this section too long because there's so much gold that Arcando says in his interview. So yeah, let's get into that. Hello.
Yo,
How's it going, man?
I'm good, man.
Welcome to Inverse Audio.
Yeah, no, thank you, man. No, I've seen some of your videos before. Actually, I've taken some really cool inspiration from some of your videos as well for my own tracks. So that's it's actually really cool that you also made a video about me.
Yeah.
So I think that's super cool. But yeah, thank you for also for doing this video. I think it's such an honor. So
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, happy to have you on here, that's for sure.
I've been losing sleep, holding on to memories. Some things never change, it's hard enough for me to breathe. And I keep a picture of us in the pocket of my rib jeans. I keep telling myself lies, close my eyes, I see you next to me. Oh, how you broke me. I knew that you were trouble from the first kiss. So oh, how you broke me. Should've known better, you were bad for me, bad for me. Oh, how you broke me. Oh, how you broke me.
oh my God.
Oh, how you broke me. Oh, how you
Man.
in the pocket of my rib jeans. I keep telling myself lies, close my eyes, I see you next to me. Oh, how you broke me. I knew that you were trouble from the first kiss. So oh, how you broke me. Should've known better, you were bad for me, bad for me. Oh, how you broke me. Oh, how you broke me. Should've known better, you were bad for me, bad for me, bad for me. Oh, how you broke
That's mad. I loved it. That's super cool. Jeez.
The question is, does it sound like Arcando?
Well, you know what it is. And that's like, I mean, this is one style of drum and bass that I do.
Yes.
In this case, definitely. But I also have tracks like Jungle, which are like a lot more, I guess, more EDM-y, where there's like
Yep.
like a clear A part and then a B part that's like super synthy and everything. And this one is more jump up style oriented. Then I have this new one like Ignite that's dropping next week, which is like more dance floor. So there's like different
Yep.
routes you can go to. But in this case, I think it definitely, yeah, you really nailed it. Like the offbeat vocal chop, that's really cool. I love it.
That's the thing, because you haven't been making drum and bass for the longest time.
Yeah.
So I had just had to pick one of the styles that you did, like you just said, and stick with it, because I couldn't really mash them all together. I'm struggling.
No, that's true. I mean, I've only been doing drum and bass since like the last part of 2023. So like I'm very recent when it comes to drum and bass still, but yeah, that's super sick.
Okay, so first question. When did you start producing and why?
I started producing back in like 2013, 2014. So it has been like 10 years now. And I started producing because I was always a big fan of artists like Martin Garrix and like the more EDM type of artists. Avicii, yeah. And then back in the day, I even started to make big room and like EDM. And as I said, like I've never touched drum and bass until last year. So, and then my dad was in a band, so he taught me how to play guitar and like real life instruments. And then I wanted to bring it over to the electronic side. That's how I started, really. Yeah.
This kind of relates into it. Who is your biggest inspiration?
My biggest inspiration, I'd say like there's a few aspects, because there's like the musical aspect of inspiration, and then there's also the social media aspect. I think musically, hold on, let me go through my record box real quick, see what I've been playing. I think musically it would be like people like Lude, Primate, I think is really cool, Sota, and then more underground artists like Pyrapus. I don't know how you say it. Pyrapus, yeah. So people like them, and then social media wise, I've always had a lot of inspiration coming from people like Fabian Mazur, who are doing all these like sample flips and stuff. And I think, that's kind of like my kind of route.
If you could go back and give yourself advice when you first started producing, what would it be?
Advice to my younger self would be, yes, figure out what you want to make and like experiment and stuff, but hold with releasing everything that you make. I feel like something that I've noticed is, because I've been releasing so many different genres, which is, yes, a good thing, but also a bad thing. And I realize that now that I've only been doing drum and bass, is that it took 10 years for me to really get a core fan base and to actually get booked for what I make. Instead of me releasing trap, future bass, slap, house, pop, everything within like fucking 5 months, you know? So it's like there was no there was consistency releasing, but not with what the genres were, you know? So that's very important. And it's very important to not just go with whoever gives you an offer or a deal. Like really sit down and be like, is this the manager I want to go with? Is this the label I want to go with? And stuff just takes time, you know, so have patience.
Have patience, maybe sleep on it and weigh out all of your options.
Exactly, yeah.
And congratulations with signing with Monster Cat. Can we expect anything big soon?
The new release is dropping August 9th with Monster Cat. And then we have another 2 songs that are dropping after, but I don't know yet when. But it's going to be like a combination of multiple tracks, basically.
Got you. That sounds amazing.
Thank you, man.
In your opinion, what is the most underrated plugin?
Underrated plugin. I think Quanta, in my opinion.
Quanta.
Yeah,
It's a good one.
I think people know it, but like they don't actually sit down most of the time and experiment with the sounds you can actually do with it. Like I use Quanta all the time. And this is not really a plugin, but resampling. Like
Yeah.
play something, resample, and just stretch it, like go crazy with it, resample it again. And then use plugins like Portal, Shaperbox, render it, resample it again. That's something that I've been doing a lot, and that gives you like massively unique sounds, you know?
Yeah. And so relating to it, what's 3 plugins you can't live without?
Definitely Serum. I use Serum for all my sound design stuff when it comes down to synths, drums, whatever. OTT or multiband compression in general, and Valhalla Room or Vintage Verb.
Yeah, Vintage Verb sounds amazing. You can't beat
Yeah,
it.
yeah, can't beat that.
What's your go-to method to spark creativity?
I actually would like let's say I'm working on a track of my own and I get stuck with what I have to do or inspiration wise. I would actually take my track and pitch it up and down to hear it in a different key. And that's when new inspirations or new melodies come to mind.
If you could collab with anyone, who would it be?
So there's already quite a few names that I'm currently already collaborating with, whom I was already looking forward to work with, like a little while ago. But I think artists like, as I said, Sota, I think is really cool. Lude. I think Scantia has some really epic sounds, so that could be a really cool transition between melodic and like sort of heavy jump up. But yeah, I think and Justin Hawks, I also think he's a great artist. Yeah,
yeah, he's amazing. Dream back to back.
Dream back to back. I really love what Disrupta is doing live. He does like a lot of really cool doubles and everything. I would say Disrupta, yeah.
What's the best way of getting your music heard and promoting it?
The simple answer is social media. Like, I feel like some people are still trapped thinking that they have to sign with the biggest label and whatever. But to be honest, they're not going to do shit for you, especially if you're not an established artist yet. So what you have to do is create hype around you. So go on TikTok, Instagram, Shorts, post, and just be as authentic as possible. Don't edit like crazy. Just put your phone down and start recording. And before you know it, you'll slowly start to see like a little fan base or like some more followers get to your page and wanting to know more from you. If you want to include a budget for any of your releases, don't run it in ads, but run it with like social media influencers who will push your track on their page, who already have a very active following. That's how you can get your music heard a lot quicker than if you put like $100 in Instagram likes,
Yeah. Okay, and lastly, the bass in Bus Back, the wobble bass, was that inspired by our Disruptor video?
Yeah.
Yeah, knew it.
Yeah,
Good
that's
job,
true.
man.
Yeah. It's there were a few videos about that sound, but I remember one was from you, and then one was from someone else, and I kind of took both inspirations and kind of made my own patch with it as well. But I even showed, because it was also inspired from Disrupta, and I showed him when we were having a session, and he was like super blown away with the sound because he never even really shared that sound with anyone. But it's cool that it's not even that difficult of a sound to make. You just have to kind of like know Serum in and out, and there's tutorials online as well. So that was a pretty cool addition to the Bus Back track. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I think that pretty much does it. Once again, thank you for coming on the channel and sharing some of these useful tips for everyone.
No, I mean, thank you for having me. And again, new music out on August 9th with Monster Cat. So super excited to drop that one. And yeah, I'm super excited to see the video as well because we're
Yeah.
gonna edit it and everything, and do like voiceover. So that's gonna be mad.
Yeah, do
Um,
some Mr. Beast style editing,
yeah,
of course.
exactly.
Got to keep that engagement high.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man.
All right, man. Cool. Well, yeah, thanks very much for being on.